69 Palestinians have been reportedly killed since the 7th of October last year.
And in southern Gaza, intense Israeli bombardments and heavy fighting in the area around the large hospital killed at least 29 people Friday. That's according to the Palestinian state news agency, WAFA, which also says the largest remaining health facility in the city of Khan Yunis. The Nasser hospital and several residential buildings came under violent bombardment by Israeli artillery and military vehicles. Khan Yunis has been the epicenter of Israel's ground operation in recent weeks. The fighting has forced thousands of Gazans to flee the area, many of them already displaced from northern neighborhoods where Israel first launched its offensive. The State Department officially confirmed the death of a U.S. citizen in the West Bank on Friday and has asked the Israeli government for more information. An Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is being accused of not telling the truth about its military goals in Gaza. The accusation is being made by a key member of Israel's war cabinet, Gadi Eisenkot, who says those advocating the absolute defeat of Hamas are not speaking the truth. Gadi Eisenkot, who is Israel's war cabinet minister, whose son was killed while fighting in Gaza, he also says Mr. Netanyahu shares a sharp and clear responsibility for failing to protect his country on the 7th of October last year, when Hamas militants struck. Mr. Eisenkot is calling for fresh elections in Israel, insisting there is no trust in its current leadership. Mr. Netanyahu publicly rejected the U.S. push for a future Palestinian state this week. And joining me now via Zoom from Dallas, Texas, in the United States to discuss what seemed like an increasing wave of tension in the Middle East is global affairs analyst Ejike Okpa. It's good to have you join us at this time.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon, and good morning in Dallas.
Right. Now, what do you make of this recent strikes? I mean, this is a new development. It seems as though Revolutionary Guards is beginning to take matters into their own hands, using long ballistic missiles. I mean, it's well known in the Middle East that Iran has the biggest missile arsenal in the region. What's your immediate reaction to this? Let's start with that, please.
Well, what's going on is, what everybody has expressed. We don't want this to become a regional war where multiple countries are drawn into it. Iran has always disliked Israel because of their support for Israel. So whatever they can do, either through their surrogates or through some of the people in Palestine, that use their forces to do this, they would do it. And I'm hoping that, the Israeli war cabinet guy who's just made a comment that the leadership of Netanyahu has not brought peace to Israel as well as the region. There should be a fresh election to get him out there. Netanyahu has been there for more than many decades. It's time he goes because he's a warmonger. If he was a very effective leader, how come that an organized militant group like Hamas was able to get in Israel and kill as many people as they did, and which is now leading to all what is going on now. So Netanyahu has to go, and then maybe there will be a sensible Israeli and some sense will come into the region for a peace or a two-part state that everybody's been clamoring for in order for that region to have some peace.
All right, it's common knowledge that Iran has the biggest missile arsenal in the region. Do you also see this as Iran trying to deliver a message to the U.S. and Israel by way of reiterating its military might?
Well, Iran has sophistication. Iran has some very smart engineers. I mean, they've been able to build a nuclear bomb that America has been persuading them and sanctioning them not to activate. They have resources. They have very intelligent people, And yes, they have the biggest in the region, and they want to let the world know, even with the sanctions and all the things said about them, they are still able to do what they do. And that is very frustrating for both the US as well as Israel. And so, because of the arsenal they have, they try to get it into countries, that hate Israel, and in order to flex their muscle or wag their finger in front of the US.
Appears to be a very calculated, targeted operation. How concerned are you about regional escalation?
I mean, I'm concerned because we don't need peace. I mean, we don't need war. This is 21st century. I think, leadership of countries should be able to have a regional understanding to where they don't have to have civilians, killed. Everybody needs to defend their country. But when it goes to where civilians are unnecessarily killed because of the recklessness of some leaders, then that is a concern for any sensible human being. Who's supposed to die? I mean, it's not animals that are dying. Even when animals are killed in America, you face felony charges. Now, human beings are being killed wantonly because some leaders will just want to flex their muscle and say, hey, I can do this because I am the prime minister or I'm president. So I'm very concerned. I don't like those things, and I hope, some kind of way that peace reigns in the region, and then they can live the life that they want to live.
Now, let's quickly talk about the Israeli Prime Minister's position of no end to war until Israel wins. What are your thoughts on this, quickly?
Well, those kind of reckless statements is what angers people. It's like somebody actually wants this, and Netanyahu has all the security around him, so he doesn't care. He doesn't care whose child is getting killed, whether Israelis dying defending their country or other people dying because they have, reacted to what Israel is doing. So Netanyahu is protected. He's in a bunker. He don't know where he is. He has hundreds of guards around. Everybody's not fortunate to have that. So I'm hoping that as a human being, he should look around and think, this has to end. What do we need to do? What's the negotiation? The Palestinians have the rights to live. Israel has the right to live. So nobody should be oppressing the other side. So that has always been my position. And I think the U.S., that is Israel's biggest supporter, has now found out that Israel has, even defying them when they call on them to step down from some of these things they're doing. It is just an embarrassing situation for U.S. leadership. And then, the Jewish community in America that is adamant about what, Israel's rights to live, also support this stuff. And then, it goes the way it goes. I think the Palestinians in America are not as sophisticated or empowered or resourceful as the Jewish are. So that's why, even though those two sides are Americans, you could see the division in how they approach what goes on in their region.
All right, thanks indeed for sharing your thoughts with us. AGK Opa, of course, our analyst there, sharing his thoughts on the recent attacks against Syria. Thanks indeed for your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you're watching TVC News. We take a moment and return with more stories. Please stay with us.